Have you ever really stopped to think about the words you use every single day? I'm not talking about the grammar rules they drilled into you in school. I mean the deep, invisible structures that actually shape how you talk and even how you think. Well, today we're going to dive into the fascinating world of cognitive linguistics and uncover the hidden world behind your own words. So, let's kick things off with a little puzzle. Look at these two sentences. The cat is on the chair. Sounds totally normal, right? But what about the chair is under the cat? Grammatically, it's perfect, but it just feels wrong. It's weird. So why is that? What's going on in our brains that makes one feel so natural and the other so incredibly awkward?
Well, the answer isn't something you're going to find in a dusty old syntax textbook. It's actually in the wiring of our minds. Cognitive linguistics shows us that the rules of language aren't just some arbitrary list we have to memorize. They're a direct reflection of how our brains are built to see and make sense of everything around us. You know, for a long time, the common idea was that language was this formal, abstract system, almost like lines of computer code. But cognitive linguistics just flips that whole idea on its head. It argues that language is fundamentally embodied. It grows right out of our physical experiences, how we see things, and where we focus our attention. It's not separate from the world. It's basically our mind's map of it.
All right, so to crack our cat and share puzzle, first we need to understand a super basic principle of how your mind's eye works. And it's a process that happens so automatically, you don't even know it's happening.
It's called figure-ground organization. This was first noticed by psychologist Edgar Rubin, and it's our brain's automatic habit of splitting any scene into two parts. You've got the figure, which is the main thing we're paying attention to, and the ground, which is just the background it sits on. You know, think of a painting of a boat on the ocean. The boat is the figure, the ocean is the ground. Your brain just does this instantly.
So let's break down what makes something a figure versus a ground. The figure is what we're focused on. It's usually smaller, and it's more likely to be mobile or active. The ground is the context. It's bigger and it's more stable or stationary. So in our example, the cat is small and can move around. It's a classic figure. The chair is bigger and it just sits there. It's the perfect ground.
And right there, that's the solution to our puzzle. We say the cat is on the chair because our language is literally built to follow our attention. We instinctively describe the figure, the cat, and then talk about its relationship to the ground, the chair. Trying to do it the other way around feels so bizarre because it's fighting against the most basic way we see the world.
But this whole mental organizing thing goes way beyond just physical objects. Our minds actually use these same basic principles, these same building blocks from our physical world, to construct the entire world of abstract ideas. Let me show you how it works.
Okay, here's a little challenge for you. Just for a second, try to talk about time, the past, the future, how long something takes, without using any words related to space or movement. It's pretty much impossible, isn't it? You can't help but talk about the week ahead of you, putting the past behind you, or looking forward to something. Why is that?
It's because our brains build our understanding of abstract stuff on top of concrete, physical stuff. We get the abstract idea of time by mapping it onto our physical experience of space. I mean, a deadline isn't actually a physical thing moving towards you, but we totally understand approaching a deadline because we have a deep, physical understanding of approaching a city. This amazing mental shortcut is called a conceptual metaphor.
And it is so important to get that these aren't just poetic flourishes or clever ways of talking. Conceptual metaphors like argument is war or life is a journey are actual fundamental structures in our minds. They are the cognitive scaffolding that we use to think about the complex, messy, abstract parts of our lives, all by grounding them in simple experiences we all understand.
Okay, so our minds use perception and metaphor to build our reality. But there's another incredibly powerful tool we use to organize knowledge. And this one shows that the meaning of a word is so much richer than anything you could ever find in a dictionary. This tool is called a frame. You can think of a frame as a mental blueprint or a little movie script for a common situation. It's a whole package of knowledge that gets instantly activated by just one word. For example, when I say the word restaurant, your brain doesn't just pull up a definition. It activates an entire script, complete with waiters, menus, ordering, eating, paying the bill, the whole shebang.
So let's take a classic example, the commercial event frame. This mental script has a really clear structure, right? There's a buyer, there's a seller, there are goods, and there's money.
all of these different parts and how they relate to each other are all bundled up in one single package of knowledge in your mind.
Now this is where it gets really mind-blowing, because it completely changes how we think about vocabulary. The words buy, sell, pay, and cost, they don't really have 4 separate meanings. They're all just different camera angles on that one commercial event movie. Buy focuses on the buyer and the goods. Sell focuses on the seller and the goods. Pay zooms in on the buyer and the money. They all tap into the exact same mental frame, just from a different character's point of view.
So what does this all add up to? Figure ground organization, conceptual metaphors, these mental frames, they're all pointing to one really profound conclusion about what language actually is.
At the end of the day, what all this shows us is that language isn't some separate program running in our brain that just handles words. It is deeply and fundamentally woven into our perception, our attention, and our physical interactions with the world. Our grammar follows our gaze, our abstract ideas are built from physical metaphors, and our words are like keys that unlock these rich encyclopedic movies of our shared experiences. So, to understand language is really to understand how we as humans work.
And that leaves us with one last kind of mind-bending question to think about. If our own native language gives us the tools to build our reality based on a specific set of experiences and metaphors, what happens to your perception of the world when you learn a completely new language with its own unique ways of seeing things? How does your reality itself begin to change?